Submit the form, everything's rolling, and now we should be getting a call. There's that Alberta number we just bought. Hi there, Eric speaking.
Hi, Eric. This is Emily from Easy Machine AI. Do you have a quick minute?
Yeah, sure, why not?
You filled out a form about AI solutions earlier today. I'm calling back to get you connected with the right person.
That entire conversation was between me and an AI assistant after I submitted an opt-in form, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build that out. I previously made a video about an inbound phone assistant that answered calls and then qualified leads, booked appointments, all that stuff, sent that information out to your existing tool stack, but that's only half the system. So today we're going to build out the other half, which is of course outbound, right? We're going to make sure our speed to lead is unlocked, and then we're going to make sure that we are not waiting for leads to come to us, but we're actually going to reach out to them. We're going to have the same AI call or text people as soon as they fill out a form, and then we can always follow up with them later. You don't have to watch that video first to follow along, but if anything feels a little bit fast, you can check out the video in the link there, and then, come back and we'll catch up there. The way I see the system is there's your assistant brain, the prompt, the tools, all of that, and then it's got its left and right hand. So this side handles inbound calls, and this side dials people when they opt in or fill out a form. For this system, there's three parts. Essentially, there's the input, which is the form trigger or type form or opt in, whatever it is. It's just somebody raising their hand. The second part is the end-to-end workflow that waits for that and triggers our VAPI assistant, tells it that it's time to make a call or text message. And then the assistant inside VAPI actually executes the task, calls the tool, makes it all happen. So let's jump back into end-to-end and I'll show you. So there we go. So I got this pre-built. I wanted to show kind of both instances where outbound callers are most practical. One is calling a lead list, right? Just reactivation. And we loop over a bunch of different numbers and call them like that. The second, which is what we're going to go over today, is on a form trigger. I'm going to use the native end-to-end forms, but like I said, this can work with anything. A webhook from a type form, add, whatever your trigger is, the input is the same. We're just going to click tab and go form and create a new form trigger. Boop, just like that, very easy. I'm going to make sure that we name it something that makes sense. We'll go over to the one I've got done already. So new lead, this is voice AI qualification. Field name, we want to make sure that we're capturing the information we need, right? Name, phone number, email, definitely phone number in this case. So name is going to be full name and make that required. Email, right? Example here, make that required. Phone number, I like to make sure that we dictate that it's only 10 digits, not the area code or country code, but we'll punch that in later. Estimated budget, that's a good piece of information, not necessarily required though. And notes, area of interest. I have this required, just tell us exactly what it is that we're looking for, right? So we'll punch that all in down here on our form trigger. The one that's a little different is notes, right? Or area of interest. We'll just go there, area of interest. You need to go text area so that you can actually give them a box to type in what that is, and we'll go required there too. Perfect. So from here, I like to set my variables so that I know exactly where I'm grabbing from at all times, and it's the same moving forward. So in this instance, I've got my VAPI phone ID, my assistant ID, and then the information dynamic variables that I've got about the prospect. Okay, so their name, email, phone number, all of the fields from our previous form trigger. So for that, you just add the set variables node, or edit fields, pardon me. And then we bring them in from over here. The two that won't be there, the information about VAPI, which I like to leave here and then punch in later, just in case we're calling different assistants. We can always take this template and roll it forward, not having to do it all from scratch. You see what I'm saying? Let's just run a task and get that information. And I'm going to go execute workflow. It's got all the information here, right? So I'm going to go Eric, let me show, that's me. Eric at easymachineai.com, that's me. Phone number 123122222. Estimated budget, area of interest. I'd like to know more about voice AI, specifically lead reactivation and text campaigns, please. That's not voice AI, but let's talk about that. So then we submit. But you see, now we've got this information, we can just drag it over. So I'm just going to pin this and use this information to move forward so that we can see it all in action. You know what I mean? So from here, we've got our edit variables. So let's drag over name, right? Email, phone number, budget, area of interest, and submit it at time, right? We don't really need this, but we are going to add two more, just like I said. So let's go with the VAPI phone ID, and then we'll punch that in later. And then we'll go VAPI assistant ID. And this is going to be our phone number and the assistant ID, which will all make sense in a minute once I go through that. So from here, I like to add a wait node, just so it seems a little more natural. Not that it's like you submit the form and then literally 2 seconds later you get a phone call. Just make it a little bit nice. I like to leave this at like 3 minutes, definitely less than 5. There's a study that says if you reach out to a new prospect within the first 5 minutes of them inquiring, you are 390, a lot. It's like 21 times more likely to close that prospect. For the sake of this demo, I'm just going to give it 8 seconds just so that we see it fire. But in production, 2 minutes is usually pretty good. Now it's time to actually tell this sucker it's ready for a phone call. So we need an HTTP request like we've got here to call VAPI. I'm going to copy this, move it down here. This is all in the documentation, but the endpoint is api.vapi.ai/call is the endpoint /phone, which is our phone number, right? So I've got my credentials in the header auth. Boop. Okay, so this is going to be a little different. I'm just going to change this here really fast and go to, what did I call that? Let's go edit fields, right? And edit fields. If you're unaware, this is how you change it. You like call your shot exactly where this is, edit fields. There we go. See, now we're all lined up. We got all our information here from before. Once we have the phone and that kind of thing plugged in there, it'll all make sense. So now we need to actually go over to our VAPI assistant and build out the outbound version, right? We've already got the inbound caller version, right? So I find that once it works, once we have a template that's not giving us trouble and this has been tested and whatnot, don't change it. So just take this and copy it into Claude to give it a different context. This is already all sorted out for you on my school community if you want to cut the line, or you can even just like screenshot and copy paste this into ChatGPT to transcribe. But anyway, what we're going to do is just tell it to keep this the same, like time zones, tool calls, logic, keep everything the same, just put it into the context of an outbound call since it's already working. There we go. The system prompt. There we go. I'm just going to tell it it's pasted context. There you go. And it's going to go and draft out the outbound call. Going back over into VAPI, I'm going to duplicate my inbound assistant. Duplicate. Great. We're going to paste that in there. Okay, so this is really straightforward. Now we need to talk about phone numbers because when you're doing the inbound assistance, it doesn't really matter. The free numbers you get on VAPI work just fine because everybody's calling into that number. It doesn't move. It's just there, right? But when you're doing outbound assistance, it gets a little bit stickier, especially if you're outside the United States. Like I'm in Canada, so I need to import a different number because the free numbers VAPI gives doesn't do international calls, which makes sense. So for that, I'm going to bounce over to Twilio. And you're going to sign up for an account. You're going to go into the paid account. It's a pay-as-you-go account, and by phone number, it's like $1. So when you get here, it'll ask you for some information. No big deal. I'm just going to do $20 for now. I do recommend setting up the auto top up, especially when you put this in, like definitely when you put this into production. So you verified your Twilio account, you're all set up. This is your dashboard. Generally speaking, you're good to go with voice right now, but there is some nuance about what numbers you get moving forward. You can get a local number or a toll-free number. I think the way I see it, toll-free numbers have a couple advantages. One, it's consistent across brand everywhere, so it's great for assets and templatizing and whatnot. It's also designed for higher volume SMS. The only thing is you do need an extra layer of verification to have your toll-free number kept from going into spam folders. Either way, let's go buy a number. We just go down to manage and buy a number. And this is where you can start filtering stuff, right? You see how it says type local US capabilities. We don't need facts, that's fine, but it doesn't make a huge difference. So just go to advanced search. So I'm just gonna go with a local Canada number. That seems good. Okay, great. So we've got our number. I'm gonna copy this over into VAPI so we can move it over. So just copy this, go over to VAPI, click create phone number. It'll start on the free one, but go down to import from Twilio, paste that here. And then we just copy in our Twilio account SID and auth token, which will be on the dashboard. We just copy it and paste it over there. So now we need to move this over into N8N. We're going to copy this ID here. This is our phone ID. Copy, move it over here. I've got it in the variables here, right? Phone ID right there. And then I'm going to bounce over to VAPI and get our assistant ID. Where was our outbound assistant? This guy right here. We're going to copy this, move this into our variables. I like to do it like this so I don't only have to change things in the one spot, right? And now we're ready to make a phone call. Fantastic. So let's save this. Let's execute this like it's a live fire, right? Sunday morning, credit card, coffee in hand, coming across something I like. Let's fill out this form. Submit the form. Everything's rolling. And now we should be getting a call rather soon. There's that Alberta number we just bought. Hi there, Eric speaking.
Hi, Eric. This is Emily from Easy Machine AI. Do you have a quick minute?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Great. You filled out a form about AI solutions earlier today. I'm calling back to get you connected with the right person. Just need a couple quick details. Are you looking to get started soon or still researching?
Yeah, I'm still researching, but obviously sooner the better, right?
Got it. Makes sense to keep things moving. You mentioned a budget of $10,000. Is that still about right?
I mean, that's dimed. Obviously, if we can do that less expensive, more expensive, just whatever does the job.
Understood. Flexible budget. Just focused on getting the right solution. Perfect. Next steps would be to book a consultation with your project partner. Any questions before we set that up?
What does that look like?
Your project partner, Eric, will walk you through our process, discuss your goals, and recommend solutions tailored to your needs and budget. It's a straightforward conversation to make sure everything aligns.
Yeah, that sounds fine. Let's book
Sound
that
good?
call. Yeah, let's book it.
Perfect. What's a good day for you to connect with Eric?
I'm free next week on Tuesday.
Got it. Let me check Eric's availability for next Tuesday. One moment. Eric is available next Tuesday at the following time: 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., 12:45 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., or 2:15 p.m. to 3 p.m. Which time works best for you?
Let's just book it for 10 a.m., please.
Got it. So that's Tuesday at 10 a.m. Let me lock that in for you. Just a sec. Last thing. Confirm your email is eric@easymachineai.com.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, Eric. Thanks for your time. Eric will reach out within the next day or so to walk through everything and answer any other questions. If anything comes up before then, feel free to reach out. Have a great day. Take care.
Perfect. Great. So since this tied into our other tools from the other assistant, this will have that appointment booking like we saw on the call. It'll send the end of call reports, so the summary, update the CRM and whatnot. The only thing we would need to do is maybe add this to a call list or put this on our CRM, right? So for example, let's punch in Sheets, right? Google Sheets. We're going to append or update row and sheet, and then we would just add that to whatever it is, like I did up here, where we just take the phone number, the execution ID is just the ID. I like to have some unique identifier of that specific call. And then we go name, email, budget, notes, all that sort of thing. And then last called is another one that I like to tag in there. So that's that. I think it's a lot easier to tie into your existing infrastructure than it is to rebuild everything. That's what we're doing here. So it's a whole cohesive system, right? One assistant, two different tools, inbound and outbound. The other thing I wanted to point out too is it doesn't have to just be form fills. You could point this at whatever you want. For reactivation, for example, say you haven't talked to a client in 90 days, it'll pull that information, slightly different script, but loop through, calling everybody you haven't talked to in 90 days, reactivating them. It doesn't have to be voice either, which is cool. You could swap this out for a Twilio node and fire out a reactivation SMS campaign if that better suits your needs. You do whatever. It's really flexible and it's fantastic for making sure people are felt taken care of. If you want the inbound template I've got and all the prompts, that's in my school community. There's a link to that down below. Or if you want to skip the build altogether, we'll just wire this into your stack. There's also a link to book a call. Either way, I hope you steal this pattern, right? One assistant, two different hands. Don't let your leads get stale, and we'll see you in the community.